Hello, friends. Welcome to the Salo Happy Home YouTube channel. Yes, we put to bed the Salo Mason Happy Home because there's no longer a Salo half and a Mason half. There's just two Salos to make a whole. And one of the guests at our wedding a few days ago actually said, "Now, Juliana, your last name is officially a four-letter word." If you're old enough to understand that joke, that's great, right? So we're expecting snow here in the great state of Minnesota. We're 3 years into this marriage thing, and so far so good. We haven't killed each other. Everybody's still alive and well. Looking forward to the rest of our lives. You know, marriage is very important. It's important because financial health for everybody is super important. But when you are single and on your own, the struggles to achieve and maintain financial stability and health, financial health, is sometimes insurmountable, overwhelming. But now that I'm married, the whole world has opened up to me. We went to the title office because they wanted my information. They sent me a letter. Now that I'm married, now there's benefits involved. Putting married on your W-4 can jack up your pay anywhere from $20 to $80 a paycheck. We should get some tax breaks when we do our 2026 taxes. This year, of course, I got fleeced again as usual. So you're almost like being penalized in our world for being single. But, you know, that's not why you really should think about getting married. It should be one of the advantages and the aspects of getting married. Should be that there's going to be a mutual financial benefit to build a financial future that's solid for both of you as a whole unit. And if something terrible happens to one of us, the other one is going to be taken care of. So that being said, there's a lot of talk, and one of the most contentious conversations in America today is the cost of living and affordability. Now, here in Minnesota, we have obscenely high taxes. I believe that's probably part and parcel for the massive fraud that's been taking place. So a lot of this fleecing hopefully will come to an end for myself and all of my fellow Minnesotans. And there is an aspect to these conversations about the economy, affordability, you know, the financial health and well-being of Americans. And the one aspect to these conversations that nobody is talking about is the treachery leveled upon American workers by the three credit reporting agencies: Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion. They are 100% for-profit companies. You can actually buy stock in them. On the New York Stock Exchange, they are openly traded. And they get paid by doing the bidding in the business of banks, lending institutions, employers, insurance companies, even your doctors. Prior to 1989, we didn't have these grifters up our asses 24/7. Now, the complacent American people and our grifting governments have allowed them to infiltrate every aspect of our most private parts of our lives: our social security numbers, our addresses, our names, married, single, who you live with. They do everything. And now we're under the constant threat of needing to have perfect credit scores at all times. Why? Because if you go to get insurance, whether it be life insurance, medical insurance, auto insurance, whatever, they pull a credit report. And if they don't like your score, they can hike your rates, charge you higher interest, or refuse you altogether. Many, many employers, when they do those background checks, if you don't read the fine print, they're also pulling a credit report because they want to know if you pay your bills or not. They want to know if you're a risk because they have some stupid, nonsensical idea, based nowhere, in fact, that if you are struggling with your bills, you might steal money from them. You fucking morons. If they are applying for a job, it's because they need the money so they can pay their bills. Duh. Sounds a little simple, I know. But nonetheless, now, what was considered ever in 1989 when they started to establish this bullshit, they did put that the scores were going to start ranking from 300 to 850 would be your highest score. It's always been that way. However, where your score ranked changes. And if they screw with the financial structure, what would actually be a really good score is now an E score. And when you have E scores, you get crappy insurance, super high rates. You may or may not get that car that you need to get to the job, to get the money, to pay the bills, so that you have good credit. And these agencies, they're not your friend. They're not working for you and your benefit. And they prove it by when you go onto their sites and you set up a little profile. Oh, for $19.99 a month, we're going to monitor your credit and we're going to alert you every time something hinky goes on. And oh, yeah, we're just going to do great things for you. We're going to help you build your credit and increase that score. All for profit. And the worst part is it's double dipping. Credit Karma, Dovely, Experian, they're the worst. They are getting paid by you by way of subscription. If you do that, you shouldn't, but you do, to do the exact same nothing that they're doing for the banks and lending institutions and insurance companies, is to just sit there on your information and look at it when someone requests it and pays them for that request. They're double dipping. They're manipulating the market. They're harassing people. They need to be abolished, at the very least taken to heel. Because everybody is now so freaked out and preoccupied about their credit score. Mine's good. I got a good credit score. Yeah. But they do these sinister backroom deals with banks and lending institutions. So you get your $19 a month subscription to, like the Experian app. We're going to monitor your credit. We're going to call you if anything hinky looks funny. We're going to give you monthly updates on your credit. We're going to give you those credit reports. You have to pay for your financial information. You have to pay for your personal information. It's like genealogy. Unless you're with the Mormons, you got to pay for it. Your family's history, nobody else's. But they make you pay for the privilege of knowing who your great freaking grandmother was. Bastards. They're no better than it, but that's a podcast for another day or a video for another day. These credit reporting grifters It's a pattern, and they all do it. Credit Karma, Dovely, which is put out by Chime. I love Chime. I can never say a bad thing about Chime. Dovely's a separate app, but it's their AI credit reporting, credit repairing apps, right? They're not repairing shit. Your credit gets repaired when you get pay raises, your bills are paid in full on time, and your debt to income ratio balances out and becomes more improved on one end than the other. They're not doing anything to repair your credit. What they're doing is telling you, if you pay us this fee, we're going to do this to help you get a better score. And what is the number one thing that these grifters tell you? Well, you will build better credit and get a better score if you have a credit card. Trump's been going on and on for a while now about the credit card crisis. The enormous amount of credit card debt that the average American carries every month. But the agencies who are punishing you and penalizing you for having credit cards are the ones that are actually telling you to get a credit card. You get ads for credit cards all over. Experian, Dovely, Credit Karma. Look at these apps. What are they trying to do? Here's your offers for the month. What are the offers? Discount insurance. They don't tell you if that insurance is actually lawful in the state that you live in. They don't tell you that you have to go through some hoops to get it. And ultimately, it's up to the insurance company if they're going to insure you and how much they charge. These apps do not have any control over that. But they do get paid from the banks and the lending institutions to sell you credit cards. Even the credit building ones. We're going to give you a credit building card. We're going to start you out at $300 credit, and we're going to take $99 right off the top. At least I don't have one, but so I'm told. As your annual fee. And then every time you make a payment, we're going to record it. We're going to tell the credit reporting agencies, well, you know what? The lenders and the bankers that operate those cards already do. They're not performing a service that is not already being performed by the financial institution that is providing that credit card to you. You don't believe me? Well, Capital One, they have their own app, the Capital One wallet app or whatever. All your Capital One in one place, all your cards, your bank accounts, checking, savings, the whole thing, blah, blah, blah. And they have you all this free. Oh, you're going to get all this credit reporting, and we're going to build your credit. We're going to do this, we're going to do that. We're going to do all these things for you. And they make you pay for it. Even though they're not doing anything for you that isn't already being done, mandated by federal law, or isn't already being done by the lenders by way of automatically providing that information. Because you cannot have a credit history to report on if these agencies do not report bank accounts, credit cards, medical bills, IRS, whatever. All of these agents independently have to report to these three agencies, credit reporting agencies, in order to build your credit profile and your credit history report. So these apps are not doing anything for you that they and only they can do. If that was the case back in 1990, everybody would have to have one of these apps. It would be required. But they don't. They're lying to you. These fuckers are grifters, and they're double dipping. They're getting money from you for these fake apps to do fake work that is already being done as part of what they get paid to do by the financial institutions. And you get One wrong slight on your credit report. And let me tell you, they make mistakes. Yes, they do. For years now, I mean, at least a half a dozen years, I have been fighting all three of the credit reporting agencies because these motherfuckers say that I owned a house in Casper, Wyoming. I didn't know there was a Casper, Wyoming. I've never been to Wyoming. I've never owned a property in Wyoming. I've owned one property in my entire life. That was my condo in Oakdale, Minnesota, 2015 to 2017. I've never owned any homes, any properties. What the fuck? They're liars and they're grifters. And they're lying and grifting to you because nobody is bothering to do the homework, because they think they're getting a really great deal and that they're going to be saved from the big, bad credit score monster, when actually they are the ones who feed and care for that credit score monster. They are the credit score monster. This nation did perfectly fine without FICO scores and credit scores and credit reporting agencies up to 1989. We don't need them. They're not necessary. They're invasive. They're intrusive. They're double dipping, grifting you. They're lying to you because they are not performing any services above and beyond what is already being performed by virtue of statute and mandated laws in the United States. Because the FICO, I believe it's Federal Income Credit Assessment, is that what it stands for? Don't quote me on that. So don't fall for the apps, don't fall for the lies, don't pay for those subscriptions. They're not doing anything for you. And they can actually cause you a lot of harm. A lot of harm. A potential employer doesn't need to know your medical history unless they think you're lying to them and you're, going into the military or someplace where you have to do, obscenely physical, crazy things. Of course, you have to have physical for that. If they need to know if you can stand for 8 hours without having to pee or fall over, stuff like that. But every employer does this crap because they can get away with it because they know you're desperate enough for the job that you're willing to sign your privacy away. And when they get that credit report, they're getting all of your names, all of your addresses throughout your life, your adult life, your social security number, humans you've been associated with, properties you may or may not own. And of course, they're coming in at the end. They don't know if, oh, she's lived in Casper, Wyoming. Really? But they don't know for a fact that's not true. But they're going to make assumptions on whether you're hireable or not based on this false information on your credit report. A conversation needs to begin about abolishing the credit reporting agencies and the credit reporting mandates. Now, I get it. If they're abolished, then financial institutions can run amok. Oh, you want a $10,000 used car piece of junk from a loan shark down the road? Well, sorry, but you got to have a credit score of 10,000 or more. It needs to be overhauled. It needs to be restructured. Something needs to happen. Because when credit card debt is the biggest financial crisis we have, especially among young people in their 20s, 30 years and younger, and yet you get these credit reporting agencies with credit repair apps that are selling you credit cards. Sounds like the snake that ate his own tail. So come join me here in this conversation, this dialogue about the damage and the harm that these sinister agencies, TransUnion, Equifax, and Experian, are causing the American people. They are at fault. They are responsible for many, many people unfairly being denied mortgages, bank accounts, insurance, decent rates, less interest, more reasonable interest payments. Now, I'm not saying taking everybody at their word. I'm not saying that everybody is good with their credit. I'm not saying that everybody deserves everything without some accountability. I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying is there is a grift going on, and all of us are being hypnotically lulled into a sense of safety that these agencies are coming out as, oh, I'm going to help you. We're going to make your life so much easier. You are not going to believe it. Dovely with Chime. Dovely has these programs. They've got different names. Magnum is the top one. You pay $40 a month. You agree. They will give you a $15,000 false line of credit, meaning you do not get $15,000 in money. You do not get $15,000 in your bank account. There is no line of credit. There is no loan. But they will tell the 3 reporting agencies that you got this line of credit. I'm not kidding you. This is absolute fact. Because I've looked into all 4 of the programs that they have. Weird setup. Anyway. And then the quicker you pay that $15,000 off to them, as soon as you make the last payment on that $15,000, they're going to add 85 points to your credit score. You can do $2,000, $1,000, $6,500, $10, $15, whatever. It is not money that you ever get. Even after you make the last payment, you do not get that money. It is fake money. You are paying $15,000 plus interest and God knows what else, taxes, service fees, the whole thing, as if it were a legitimate line of credit, only you don't get money. You don't get that line of credit to use for anything, and you never see the money. I've had this explained to me by the credit reporting agencies, by Dovely themselves, by ChatGPT. I had the whole thing explained to me because I was like, what the hell are they talking about? You are purchasing, in the particular point with their Magnum, which is their elite program, you are purchasing 85 points to add to your credit score by way of agreeing to pay them back $15,000 plus taxes, interest, fees, whatever. So probably what, 20 grand, 20 or more $1,000, and you have to pay it back as fast as possible. They want payments of $200 a month or more. And the quicker you pay it back, the quicker you get access to that 85 points. I've never done it because it is a scam in my eyes. I'm going to give them $20,000 so that in 5 years they'll add 85 points to my score. I might not even be alive in 5 years. And don't fall for the no credit check. Everybody's approved credit cards. Those are upload cards. They're blank cards that you have to put money on. If you had money to put on a card, you'd probably put it on a card that you already have that you need to pay off. It is a circle jerk grift. And we need to have a conversation here in the U.S. about this grift and get this grift under control because it's destroying Americans. It is making people more impoverished, and it is creating a cycle of very sick financial action. You get a card, you run it up, it's $300, $400. Well, you're a desperate person, you use it for gas and groceries, that's a week. The cars ran up. Now you got to get another card and another card and another card because you have to survive. So don't fall for the grift. And if you have or you think you have, start a change.org petition to investigate these 3 companies, take them to heel, and expose the double dipping, the cycle of now we're going to put you in a credit consolidation loan because you have too much credit, but you need that credit, because that's what they'll tell you when you're brand new at your credit. You have zero credit, your kid just turned 18, you had zero credit, they want to give you a credit card. They don't tell you to get a checking account or a savings account. They don't give you free advice on how to do penny stocks or how to save and manage your budget. No. Because if they truly wanted you to have a healthy credit report and a good credit score, that's what they would do, but they're not. They're doing something all else together. They are telling these 18-year-olds coming out of high school, what you need is a credit card. And I'm right, because you all get those. You all get those ads from your banks. When you go onto your bank's mobile app, you get it through Credit Karma, you get it through Dovely, you get it through Klarna, you get it through Plaid, you get it through Affirm, you get it through the 3 credit reporting agencies. They're all in on the grift. So let's start having a conversation about this, because they are at fault for the desperate need for these credit cards. And then just like a drug addict, they're still feeding you the cards. So there, that's my rant for today. And until next time, do good and be good.